Hello, I'm Christina, and this is my response video for Dr. Perry in EDL, EDEL 3394. So the first question is, choose the most vital or fundamental topic or lesson you learned this semester and explain it to the students who will take the course in the future. Got my notes. Here I stated that it is okay to make mistakes. We learn from those mistakes after all. And isn't that why we're here to begin with, is to learn and grow as future educators. You do need to keep in mind, keep an open mind to learn or relearn the concepts we may have forgotten or thought that weren't important to learn. So again, go into it with an open mind. Don't close off to the information that Dr. Perry is giving you. It is all very relevant. Understanding the foundations of those concepts is very important. I found this to be the most important topic of the whole course, really. The scaffold technique changed my view on pretty much everything. The scaffold technique, that if you don't have a strong foundation in understanding the concepts and you build upon the weak foundations, it would be more difficult to understand the operations, the steps, and a higher level of thinking as you progress through, whether that's in math or pretty much anything else. If you don't have the basic knowledge, the basic foundation of everything, it'll be harder for you to understand as you progress on through the course, in everything, not just in math. Question 2, consider one mathematical idea from the course that you have found beautiful or elegant, can't see my face, and explain why. Okay, so one thing that I had already known about, but I did not fully grasp how amazing it was until Dr. Perry mentioned it, was the Fibonacci sequence. I had already known about the Fibonacci sequence, but when he showed us how it is in everything, just blew my mind. So the Fibonacci sequence is a series of numbers when each number is the sum of the two preceding ones. For example, you start with 0 and 1. So 0 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. And so on. Right? So it's the sum, and it is a continuous pattern. But see, that pattern can be found in nature, in almost everything. You can find it in the trees and lightning, the leaves, the rivers, snowflakes. You hear it in Frozen fractals all around. Like, it is in everything. So it just, in our own human system, in our lungs, our brain cells, it is absolutely fascinating. Math in itself, even the Fibonacci sequence, it's a universal language. You can find it everywhere within our world, and including outside of our world into the universe. You can find it. You can find those patterns in other planets. Scientists have been able to recognize some of those patterns in other planets, and even in galaxies. You've got the spirals forming in other galaxies. It is amazing. It is a universal language that can bridge people without using words. you can communicate with math, whether you're from America, Mexico, China, Japan. It is math that can, it's a language that can bring us all together. And that is just absolutely fascinating and phenomenal in itself. And the last question, explain how the struggle itself was valuable, how you overcame the struggle, whether struggling build aspects of character in you, and so on. So, not gonna lie, I did struggle this semester, but it wasn't so much of within. I struggled in pretty much all my courses. The first couple of weeks, it's always finding that footing of finding their new courses, new assignments. You don't know how to just yet budget your time wisely within the first couple of weeks of a brand new semester. So don't stress, but the struggle is worth it, because when you struggle and you come out ahead, you realize that everything you've done from the time that you started leading up to that moment is absolutely worth it. You've gained knowledge, you've gained experience, and those help you not just in your coursework, but as you move on and move outside of the university into your career, into your own life. So yes, it is hard work, but at the end it's worth it. And mind you, when Dr. Perry gave us the math assignments to actually work out equations and word problems, for me it was kind of difficult because I graduated high school before some of you guys were born. I graduated high school in 1998. So I didn't need to, from the time I graduated high school to the time I decided I wanted to go back to school and become a teacher, in my mind, I was like, I don't need to use algebra. I don't need to know about angles and no. So now it's like, oh, how do I do this? I remember doing it, but I don't remember how to do it. So what I did was, instead of relying on the internet or ChatGPT to look up how to solve these problems, I reverted back to old school and using books and reading through how to solve these problems without having to rely on ChatGPT. Because again, when I'm teaching, ChatGPT is not going to teach for me. I have to be the one in front of my students presenting the information and be knowledgeable about that information without having to look at my phone and be like, oh, let me see what ChatGPT says about this. No. I need to be the one using my brain power teaching my students. So I reverted back to a book. I looked up the information. Mind you, I may have added wrong because I'm just trying to get through it because I have other things to do. But looking up the information, finding the information I need, and then applying it to the problems that was given to me, all worth it, because again, I gained the knowledge and I gained the experience. So the struggle is real. It is worth it in the end, but it does build your confidence. It does build your knowledge, and you can use those applications outside of the class, outside of the university, into your career, and so on. So quickly, I just wanted to add, do the work. Don't waste time. Do the work, do the reading, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Don't rely heavy on your phone and ChatGPT. Like I've mentioned before, it's you who's going to be teaching. not ChatGPT, not your phone. So do the work, do the reading, ask a lot of questions. That's how we learn, by asking questions. Not one question is dumb. I've had a professor say otherwise, but every question, ask it until you understand the concept, and question everything. Question everything. You are there to learn and grow. And so that way we can become the best teachers our future students need and require us to be. So I'll just leave you with that. Ask lots of questions and question everything.